UNESCO said more than 850 million young people, or nearly half of the world's student population, are barred from their school and university grounds because of the coronavirus pandemic. Calling it an unprecedented challenge for education, UNESCO said schools had been closed in 102 countries, with partial closures in 11 more, and there would be more closures. The UN Educational Organization said in a statement, over 850 million children and youth, roughly half of the world's student population, had to stay away from schools and universities. Major General Said Cherghia, Algeria's acting chief of staff, called on the field forces for the adequate and effective application of the combat preparation programs. The senior military officer spoke at length about the system of military training and field combat programs. According to military experts, his speech reflected the risks at the border as a result of the ongoing war in Libya and the precarious situation in Mali. The organization called on the Algerian authorities to stop arbitrarily arresting activists and release those persecuted solely for exercising their right to freedom of expression or assembly. The Lebanese capital Beirut has turned into a large voluntary prison for its residents in an attempt to limit the spread of the coronavirus after the government announced a state of general mobilization. Patrons in Ashrafiyya, Barbour and Hamra confirm that people are abiding with the instructions to stay at home amid a total lockdown of most stores except for those selling groceries, which are not seeing many customers as the majority have resorted to have their groceries delivered to their homes. The different precautionary measures adopted are being followed to different degrees in different regions. At the entrance to the Sabra and Shatila camps, traffic usual and people are still gathering on the street. The Association of Lebanese Banks retracted its decision to close all bank branches until March 29th, which has taken as part of health emergency plan announced by the government amid the coronavirus outbreak. The association reached an agreement last week with Minister of Finance Ghazi Wazni to open some bank branches in regions provided that liquidity is secured in the ATMs. Following a heated debate, the two sides agreed to open some bank branches starting Wednesday by organizing work hours and taking the necessary procedures to meet the people's needs as the country grapples with an unprecedented economic crisis which has been compounded by the virus outbreak. Workers in the home delivery sector in Saudi Arabia have revealed an increase in food orders by 40%. This was recorded during the first 2 days after government authorities announced the precautionary measures that adhere to relevant international standards and requirements to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Municipalities in the kingdom's various regions impose a ban on eating and drinking inside restaurants. This ban excludes drive-through orders and home delivery. A Lebanese military judge asked the Cassation Court to overturn the verdict on the release of Amir Fakhouri, a former collaborator with Israel, amid mounting condemnation and hence at a political deal with the U.S. In a surprising decision on Monday, the military court acquitted Fakhouri of arresting, seizing and torturing Lebanese citizens in the Kaim prison that Israel established during its occupation of southern Lebanon between 1985 and 2000. Fakhouri, who arrived 6 months ago from the U.S., was ordered released on Monday because more than 10 years had passed since he allegedly committed the crimes. Oman's central bank is preparing to provide some 8 billion Omani riyals, which is $20.8 billion in extra liquidity to banks as one of several measures aimed at supporting the economy as coronavirus fears escalate in the Gulf region. Oman, an oil-producing state, has reported 33 cases of coronavirus, and the outbreak looks set to hit the nascent non-oil sectors of its economy. Oman is also working on ways to reduce the impact of plunging oil prices on its precocious finances. The $20 billion central bank liquidity measure follows similar moves by other Gulf banking regulators, which over the past few days have offered sizable stimulus packages to shield their economies from the spread of the virus. Tunisian authorities announced they will seek a new financing program to the country's economy. Tunisia struck a deal with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in December 2016 for a loan program worth around $2.8 billion to overhaul its ailing economy. It included steps to cut chronic deficits and trim bloated public services. Prime Minister Elias Fakhfakh has pledged to defend Tunisia's interests within the new program, stressing that his country does not accept conditions that do not take its interests into account. Complementing precautionary and preventive measures taken by the authorities in Saudi Arabia against the outbreak of the new coronavirus COVID-19, international flights to and from the kingdom continued to be suspended. This was with the exception of repatriation flights bringing special cases home. As part of procedures taken in Saudi airports, skilled authorities applied precautionary measures to their workers, provided devices to periodically measure the temperature of airport staff to ensure their safety. These after going on an Arab and European tour to press Egypt's case in the dispute with Ethiopia over the Nile Dam, Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry turned on Tuesday to the support of friends in Africa. Shoukry went to Burundi, where he met with President Pierre to deliver a message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Cairo and Addis Ababa have sent diplomatic envoys to several countries after negotiations that took place under the auspices of the United States and the World Bank stalled. Peace Now, a monitoring group opposing Israeli settlements, said that the new West Bank saw a surge in settlements construction in 2019. The watchdog group released a report during which it highlighted the rise in Israel's average annual construction rate to 25%. It attributed the surge in settlements action to the lenient policy of U.S. President Donald Trump since he took office in 2017. The Moroccan authorities arrested a man known as Abu Naim after he published a video online making remarks that incite hatred and violence. According to authorities, he made statements that seriously threatened public order, degrade and undermine the efforts of public authorities to deal with the new coronavirus. This came after Morocco announced closing all mosques throughout Morocco amid the mounting fears of the spread of COVID-19. Egypt revoked the press credentials of a journalist for The Guardian over a report suggesting that cases of coronavirus in the country are likely much higher than official statistics. According to an official statement by the State Information Service (SIS), the government has also issued a warning to the New York Times Cairo bureau chief Declan Walsh over tweets citing an article by British journalist Ruth Mitchelson published Sunday in The Guardian, citing Canadian epidemiologists who estimated Egypt's COVID-19 infections had surpassed 19,000. It also demanded that The Guardian newspaper publish an apology for the article, which it described as full of professional mistakes. Giza governor banned popular markets in 7 neighborhoods of Giza to prevent the spread of coronavirus, including the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday market. This decision comes in light of the precautionary measures taken by the government to confront the virus in order to preserve the safety of its citizens. The governorate also banned hookahs in cafes and cafeterias and stressed that in case of violations, strict measures will be taken. Air France Airlines will operate flights from March 21st to March 23rd to return the French expats in Egypt back to their country amid fears of the emerging coronavirus COVID-19. Earlier, Egypt's Minister of Tourism, Khaled Al-Anani, affirmed that tourists and expats are free to leave the country whenever they want to, as long as the arriving planes used to transport them have no passengers on board. Minister of Health announced Tuesday that the country recorded 3 new COVID-19 cases, raising the total number to 196.